Hi, everybody. Welcome to the last Lunchtime Bites of 2021. We're so excited to have you here. We will get started in just a minute. As you're joining, be sure to put where you're working, where you're from in the chat, and say hi to each other, say hi to us. And we'll get started in just a couple minutes. If you're eating lunch right now, you can tell us what you're eating. I am looking forward to a sandwich after this call.
Hey, Jim Warren. I recognize one person on there.
John Survey.
Well, I recognize one person too. Well, I recognize Jim too, but Jerry Barker, hello. It's an important MST leader.
Well, as always, we are recording, so if folks want to share this after the fact, it's on the same page where you registered. And hi, Marla. Marla's been, I think you've been at every one of these this fall. Very, very glad to see you again. So if someone you know missed it, you can direct them to the recording. I am going to get started because we only have a small amount of time. So my name is Rachel Chapoul. I'm the Director of Corporate Engagement and Impact at Earthshare, North Carolina. I'm excited to have you all here today. I will be adding people to the room and talking at the same time for the next couple of minutes. So if I seem a little bit distracted, that's what I'm doing. So just a couple things about Earthshare, North Carolina. I think most of you are acquainted with us, but we are a coalition of 26 NC-based nonprofits and over 70 national nonprofits, making an impact for North Carolina. How do we do this? By protecting the health of our lakes, rivers, coast, all the good watershed. We're excited to have a river organization speak with us today. We preserve wild and working land. We support rehabilitation and protection of wildlife. If you want to know more about that, you can talk to Jim Warren, who's on the call from the Raptor Center, working for clean air and energy policies for our kids, especially through fighting climate change and working on great stuff in North Carolina in that regard, and then researching and promoting climate change solutions. So very excited about what our groups are doing. If you want to peep at who they are here in North Carolina, this is our whole group of North Carolina nonprofits, and you'll see our speakers are on there. If you've been watching every week, everybody's represented. If they weren't in Lunchtime Bites, I encourage you to go to our website on the About page and learn more about all of our nonprofits in North Carolina. Our purpose is to connect people with the work of these organizations, the workplace engagement and giving programs. So if you came here, you're probably coming through a campaign link or you're coming through a corporate engagement program. And so we're very excited to have you and hope that we can keep working together to protect the environment in North Carolina. So for those of you coming through campaign, we have our SECC code up on the screen if that's something you'd like to participate in. If you're part of the state, you can use that code to give to Earthshare, North Carolina. If you want to give to either of these organizations that are about to speak to us, the code is on the SECC giving site for Catawba, Riverkeeper, and Friends of the Mountain Sea Trail. And if you are just out there giving through Brightworks or Benevity or whatever your corporation uses, our EIN is on the screen as well. And you can find us through searching because we're represented on those sites. Okay, enough for me. I'm going to introduce our speakers. So we have Kate Dixon from Friends of the Mountain Sea Trail. And then we have John Searby from Catawba Riverkeeper Foundation. So the executive directors are well represented on the call today. I'm going to let some people in before we get started. But Kate, if you want to work on sharing your screen.
Sure.
I will stop sharing my screen. All right.
I seem to be at that. Can everybody see that? Great.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for inviting us to do this. And I do want to say that we really appreciate the support and that Earthshare provides for the Mountains to Sea Trail and Friends of the Mountains to Sea Trail, helping us reach folks and let them know about the trail and our work. And Earthshare is really a great organization. I'm so excited to talk to you today and tell you more about the Mountains to Sea Trail and how you can get involved. And the first thing I want to tell you about is if you'd like to get involved by getting out on the trail and exploring it, that's the first thing I want to sort of share with you more about the trail and how to do that. So first of all, in case you have never heard of the Mountains to Sea Trail, you probably get the general sense that it's a North Carolina trail that goes from the mountains to the sea, but it's 1,175 miles if you were to do it today. And the western terminus is at Clingman's Dome, which is in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, and the eastern terminus is at Jockey's Ridge State Park on the Outer Banks. So this particular photograph is taken on Shortuff Mountain overlooking Linville Gorge. And then this is a photo on the Outer Banks, getting closer to Jockey's Ridge. The trail is really diverse, which is one of the really special things about it. And there are parts of it that are extraordinary sort of wildness. A lot of people ask me, how is the MST like the Appalachian Trail? And there are definitely parts of it that are like that, where you're out just in forest or just big natural areas. This particular photo is taken near Mount Mitchell. You see a lot of wildlife. I like this photo not just because of the tree frog, but also because it gives you a sense of what's the blaze, which is a white circle that you're following all along the trail. And then periodically you'll see photographs that show the logo of the trail system, which is the Mountains to Sea Trail is actually an official state trail of North Carolina. But the trail is really diverse in that it also takes you through a lot of small towns. This particular photo is taken at a historic mill village called Glencoe, which is on the Haw River in Alamance County. Really beautiful, historic, restored village. It takes you through some very important historic sites. This photo is taken at Bentonville Battlefield. That was the largest Civil War battle ever fought in North Carolina. It's in southern Johnston County, and the trail goes right through there on trail. Lots of different places to learn about nature and history. Really an extraordinary experience. And one of the things that people who do the whole trail talk about, though, that is that they really love that the Mountains to Sea Trail helps them meet people who are North Carolinians. And that's just a really, really special part of doing the Mountains to Sea Trail. Most of the trail is natural surface footpath. Most of the trail is only open for hiking, but there are some places where it's there are other uses that are allowed. And we have a huge volunteer crew that builds and maintains the trail. Where the trail has not been constructed yet, we use connecting road segments. And then there's actually also a very significant paddle option in the coastal plain along the Neuse River. The trail, obviously it crosses the state and it's got to go through a lot of different places. So 37 counties and 41 towns. This is in downtown Clayton. And this is a map that shows you the route of the trail. And the way to read and understand this map is that what's in red, that is where the trail is off-road, and you're, in the woods, or you might be on the beach, or you could be on a paved greenway trail, etc. But that's about 720 miles of off-road MST. And the solid black lines that you see, those are road sections that people who are trying to complete the entire trail use to connect. And whenever we build new trail, we just shift that road route. So the trail becomes more and more of a complete off-road trail. And you see the blue line, that's where I mentioned that you could paddle the Neuse River as a way to complete that part of the trail. So thousands of people enjoy the MST every day. There are some sections that are very remote and you'll hardly see a person in. Then there are places that are very popular. The trail on the left that you see is in Smithfield. The trail on the right is near Elkin, sort of in the northwest corner of the state. Most people who use the trail are day hikers or maybe weekend overnight backpackers, but most people are day hikers. These are the most famous people who we know have used the trail, and that's President Obama and First Lady Obama walking towards you. That happened back when they were actually vacationing in Asheville, and they went on the trail. It was a fun day for us. And more people are completing the entire trek. This particular photo is of a really remarkable hiker who's legally blind. His name is Trevor Thomas, and his dog Tennille, who did it with him, is the only dog we've ever recognized for completing the trail. That was an exciting day when he finished. So I wanted to tell you a little bit more about how to find hiking information, though. And first, because most people who do the trail use it for day hikes, we have written this really wonderful book of day hikes. It's published by UNC Press. You can get it off our website, or you can find it in stores or Amazon. And what we've done is we've given great day hikes all along the trail. So it's a really great way to really see the trail, but also to see North Carolina, to learn more about North Carolina. And one of the things we've done is there are 40 hikes, and we have made a challenge so that if you complete all 40, you will receive a patch like this and be recognized on our website too. And we have a sheet that you can fill out to say when and which hikes you did when. We also have a really great website for hiking the trail, and this is the homepage. Under this navigation tool, the trail, you have all these different options. And one of the key ones that a lot of people use is there's an interactive Google map. And you can actually, like if you wanted to see trailheads, you could click over here if you see where my cursor is, or you want to see where are the trail segments or what's happening on the trail or their trail alerts. You can click on any of those and that will populate it, and then you can zoom in and you can actually get driving directions for your trailheads from this map. We've divided the trail into 18 segments, and you can also sort of zoom in to learn more about each of these segments. We set them up because they're sort of distinct areas of the state, and the trail is a great way to explore them. If you are on this page, the trail segment page, you can either click on one of these trail segments, but you might say, oh, I'm really interested in backpacking. Where is that easiest? And if you see there's this line up here at the top, if you click on one of those, it will give you the segments that are best for whatever it is you're interested in. This is the top of a page about one particular segment. It gives you an overview. You can see it has a map. And if you scroll to the bottom, it gives you a link to an app that you could use on the trail. So just, scroll on down and you can find that too. And now all of our turn-by-turn hiking directions are all available online. They're free to anybody who's a member. And you can also, if you just want to buy one or whatever, you can get them off of our store on the website. So who are we? We are the nonprofit that supports this statewide trail. We have a volunteer board and a staff, and in a typical year, we'll have about 800 or more volunteers. And they maintain a lot of trail. They help in other ways too. And we're the primary source of information about how to hike the trail. And we really depend on members, volunteers to make all of this happen. So ways to volunteer. One of the big ways, as I've mentioned, that we use volunteers is building and maintaining the trail. And we have trail crews all across the state looking for people like you. Lots of different ways you can participate in that. And then another big way that a lot of people help out is they're what we call a trail angel. And these are people who support long distance hikers. They may provide shuttles. They may even, they may help people get to a place to camp for the night. Just helping hikers who are doing this long distance trek. And people love it because they love meeting these people who are doing this adventure of a lifetime. And there are lots of other ways to get involved too, tabling, helping with fundraising. And we're always looking like if there's some special way, some special skill you have, talking with you about how you might be able to help. We're really open to that. So with that, I so appreciate this opportunity. And if you all have any questions, I'm really happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Kate. I was just curious how many people have done the 40 hikes so far.
That's a really great question. I think we're around 30, is my guess. I know we just had somebody sent theirs in. The first people who finished it, it was a big surprise to us and a delightful surprise. It was a family of 6, the parents and 4 children, ranging in age from 12 to 6 years old.
Wow.
And we published the book in March 2020, so just as, you know, everything went into shutdown. And they just thought of it as a great way to explore the state and learn more about it. And so they were traveling all over. And then in January of 2021, they sent in their form, and they were the first ones to complete, all 6 of them. It was so fun. So
Yeah, the family that hikes together, you know?
yeah,
Awesome.
that's
Well,
right.
if anyone has more questions for Kate, just pop them in the chat and we'll get those answered. We will switch over to John. I don't know if I have to.
Thank you. Let me get my share up here. All right. I hope everybody can see that. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Rachel and Urshir. It's a pleasure to be here. I think this is the second or third time I've been able to speak on Lunchtime Bites. I lose track of these types of things during the last 18 months. So
You've done it 3 times. That's impressive.
great.
I haven't done it 3 years.
Well, thank you for having us. It's good to see a lot of friends and folks from groups that are friends of Catawba Riverkeeper. So I'm going to give you some high-level overview about our organization. Again, my name is John Searby. I'm the executive director. I have been in this role since April of 2019, but our organization was founded in 1997. And we were really founded out of an interest group in the Charlotte region concerned about the water quantity and quality of the Catawba River Basin as we moved into the new millennium. So we serve 26 counties in North and South Carolina. 14 of those are in North Carolina. And the Catawba River is widely considered around the country as the hardest working river in America. And that's because it provides more electricity per mile than any other river in the United States. We have 14 hydroelectric plants on the Catawba River. We have 3 coal-fired power plants, and we have 2 nuclear power plants, all that use the river in some way, shape, or form to create electricity for nearly 3 million people. It's also the drinking water source for now. This is a little bit outdated with the new census. We're approaching 2.5 million people get their drinking water from the Catawba River now. And it's over 8,900 miles of waterways, rivers, creeks, and streams in about a 5,000 square mile basin. So that sounds like a big area, but in the river world, 5,000 square miles is a very small river basin. There are 15 river basins in the state of North Carolina, and we are one of 15 Riverkeeper organizations in the state working both independently within our own basins, but also collaboratively on statewide efforts. And Kate's photographer that was standing on Short Off Mountain was taking a picture at one of the 2 headwater sections of the Catawba River. So the Linville River and the North Catawba come together at Lake James, and from Lake James below, it is one unified river. But we consider both the Linville Gorge and the Upper Catawba Falls near Old Fort as our joint headwaters of our river basin. We have just under 6,000 members in 26 counties and 2 states, and we are very much a membership-driven organization. One of the questions we get all the time is, why do we even need river keepers? Isn't the state DEQ, aren't they out doing this work? And while the answer is yes, there are state agencies responsible for water quality, we like to think about the river as a three-legged stool. If you think about the river itself as the top of the stool, a stool needs each of its legs balanced properly for the river to remain healthy, plentiful, and vibrant. And a lot of us are aware that Duke Energy has a permit with the federal government to manage the dams that create electricity. And by extension, they manage the lake levels and the flow of the river under permitted restrictions. What a lot of people don't know is there's about 350 other permitted users. These are municipalities, utilities, private companies who have federal permits through the EPA to take water out of the river and in many cases discharge that water back into the river after they've used it. And so the two of them have a huge stake, and those are large entities. The third leg of the stool to keep that balance is us. It's all of you who live in the Catawba River Basin in one of those 14 counties or 26 counties in North or South Carolina. And as individuals, it's very difficult for any of us to balance out the largest utility in America or 350 other permitted users. So Catawba Riverkeeper really becomes the representative of the people to create that balance for our river and make sure that the other folks who are using the river for a variety of uses are doing so in a responsible manner. Why that matters, I think is pretty obvious, but we work in two areas, water quality and water quantity. And you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, really the things that we feel are the reasons for our work. Recreation, obviously that's top of mind, whether you're a wake boat operator or a fisher, or you like to kayak or you like to open water swim. Recreation offers a lot to our region. Um, but it's also vibrant communities. It's property values of lakefront homeowners. It's obviously drinking water. It's future generations' use. And really, the river is a part of an integrated environment. So the work that we do has an impact on the work that Kate and her groups do. If we don't have healthy rivers and we can't go near them, then we can't have trails near them. It influences the work that Carolina Raptor Center does. We don't have healthy rivers. Our birds don't have a place to eat and have their habitat. It affects healthy land use. So it's really a part of an integrated environment. What makes us unique as an organization, as opposed to maybe broader based environmental groups, we really focus a lot on collaboration. Water challenges affect everyone. And so we have 3 offices, 2 in North Carolina, 1 in Morganton and 1 in McAdenville, just outside of Charlotte. And then we have 1 in Fort Lawn, South Carolina. That allows us to have a comprehensive view of the basin and coordinate strong collaboration so that if one user is doing something that we have a concern about that's affecting someone downstream, we can get those 2 folks together in a boardroom instead of a courtroom to work on solutions. Mentioned before, our state agencies are continuing to cut their budgets and staff, so we fill in that gap like most nonprofits do between public demand and public sector services. So we have done over 4,000 water samples so far in 2021, and many of those are being reported to the public in real time. A good example is our swim guide program. Every Thursday between Memorial Day and Labor Day, we sample at 55 popular swimming sites all around the basin. On Friday afternoon by 5 o'clock, we publish those results to our app and to our website and our social media so you can know if this weekend your water is safe to swim. Education is a big part of what we do for all ages. And most importantly, we're on the water. We are the eyes and the ears of the river. We have 3 monitoring boats, 1 at each one of our offices. We have nearly 2,000 volunteers on an annual basis that are getting out on the water, reporting things that they see to us. So we really deploy those 6,000 members on behalf of our waterways. Here's what we work on today. These priorities change. We evaluate them on an annual basis. Some of these we've been working on a long time. Some of them are new to us. Stormwater is by far the largest source of pollution to not only our river, but almost every river in North Carolina. Its impacts are most notable in urban creeks and streams because of huge increases in impervious surface in our urban areas. Number two is permitted pollution. That always shocks people. Like, the federal government gives a permit for people to pollute. Yes, the permitted discharges that I mentioned, those permits come up every 5 years. We just celebrated the 49th anniversary of the Clean Water Act, which says that if you have a permit, you need to be improving the water quality that you're polluting on an annual basis. And so every 5 years, we get a chance to comment on those, ask for adjustments, ask for improvements. Our third priority is swim, drink, and fish. This is really around bacteria and other human health issues that affect our waterways, that make it in such that we can't swim, drink, or fish in those waters. And then restoration. About a year and a half ago, our board made a very strategic decision that we weren't going to be able to preserve and protect our way to clean water, that we were going to have to begin restoring degraded waterways to improve water quality, flood resiliency, and recreational value. So how do you get involved? And this is my last slide. Like probably a lot of our organizations at EarthShare, we have invested in a great mobile app and our website. From our mobile app, you can report to pollution or trash real time. You can check swim guide results from the most recent test. You can see lake levels. You obviously can donate to us. You can rent kayaks. We have kayak rentals at a lot of different locations around the basin. You can volunteer from our app, and you can get involved in a cleanup or a stream restoration. You can join us for fundraising and tabling events. And most importantly, you can become a member. Depending on your age, we have Young Allies of the River. So folks between 21 and 35 can join as individuals for $25 a year. We have individual memberships, family memberships, corporate memberships. So becoming a member is really important. If you know anything about the Clean Water Act, the Clean Water Act allows citizens, residents of an area to get what is called standing. And that gives them the right, because the pollution affects them. Our membership base, when we grow our membership base, it gives our organization stronger standing, so that when we have to hold polluters accountable, we have a strong voice, whether it be with the state legislature or in the court system, or simply in conversation and negotiation with private groups. If you're interested in finding out more, our website is a trove of information. You could spend all afternoon on it this afternoon and explore the different programs that we have. But I'll finish that for now and take any questions that you might have.
Just have a couple minutes left. So if you do have questions for John, please put them in the chat and we'll get you connected. I think what both these groups do is make these spaces really accessible to people, and the apps, the websites, the books, the locations. It's just a great way to support the outdoors and also access it in a meaningful way. And as John said, become a member, because that really helps. Really helps. Okay, so if everybody is still here, if you want to do the raffle, this is your time. Kate and John, can you tell me what your raffle prizes are, and then we will raffle them up?
Yes.
I can start if you want. I have a copy of the Day Hike Guide, and also an MST patch.
Very cool.
And we have kind of a little swag bag that will get you out on the river. We've got a Catawba Riverkeeper dry bag, a water bottle, and a koozie with some Riverkeeper stickers in it.
Wow. Awesome prizes today. Okay, so Kate and John are going to think of a number between 1 and 100 in their heads. And then everybody who wants to participate can put their number between 1 and 100 in the chat. Everybody can participate, even Jim. Vicky Lee won a prize a couple weeks ago, so. All right, has everybody got their number in there? Cool. All right. Kate, what was your
23.
number? 23. Okay, I saw 22. Who is 5175. You can say who you are. Okay, Nancy Case. Nancy Case, you won the guide and the patch. So please put your email in there, and we'll get you connected with Kate.
And my number was 46.
46. I'm clicking back through. Probably Toby.
I think I saw 43.
Yeah, I think it's Toby Andrew. Toby, we had a 53 too, but yeah. 43 is right. Okay. Toby, if you put, I think Toby's also Wells Fargo. Good job, Wells Fargo. Representing today. Toby, if you could put your email in there, we'll get you connected with John. Any final questions for these folks?
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Well, this is the conclusion of Lunchtime Bites for 2021. I appreciate everybody coming, especially those of you who came all 4 weeks. You're my favorite people. And then we will see you in 2022. We'll see if we keep doing this and we can all be in person again, hopefully, fingers crossed.